So, you're an astrophotographer and you've been looking for a free and standalone tool that can help sharpen your images of nebulae, galaxy, star clusters, etc. Well, there is a new tool that is available on the scene. It is standalone, also available as a script for PixInsight, and it is completely free. It is called Cosmic Clarity, and it comes from our friend Franklin at SetiAstro, who has been doing amazing scripts, all available for free for PixInsight in the past few months, and he has single-handedly changed the way that I process my Astro images. And the great thing with Cosmic Clarity is that because it's available as a standalone, you can use it in combination with something like Cyril to process your images, or GIMP, or something like that, so it can be a great way to work with your images. So in this video, I'll be showing you how to download and install Cosmic Clarity, and I will be trying it out on a few of my images. And of course, I will be comparing it to the go-to sharpening tool in the hobby, which is BlurXterminator, that is only available for PixInsight and costs $100 US. So it's going to be interesting to see whether Cosmic Clarity can completely replace BlurXterminator. And also, Cosmic Clarity comes with a denoise tool, which is similar to Noise Exterminator, which is also a plugin for PixInsight, a reference, and costs $60 US. Although there are other AI-based denoisers available, like the Graxpert denoise tool, which I find absolutely amazing, especially with the latest AI. Anyway, let's go to Cosmic Clarity. By the way, I love that name, Cosmic Clarity. I feel it could be used in a slightly different context. Something like, hey, you want some Cosmic Clarity? It's the good stuff. You're gonna see stars. And indeed, we are going to see stars, and stars that are sharpened by the script, hopefully in a less trippy way than the example I just gave. Anyway, let's go and download and install the tool so I can show you how to do that and then how to actually use it. So of course, by the way, I will have all of the links down in the description, especially to SetiAstro's videos, because those are the reference. I'm just making this video to have like a comparison to BlurXterminator in an independent way, right? So you will go to setiastro.com/cosmic-clarity. I'll put the link in the description. And I haven't tried macOS or Linux versions, but if you're on Windows, you have two things to download. You'll have the Windows version, so you can click on this. It's going to open a Google Drive file, and you just want to click on download to download this file. The next thing you want to do is to get the AI models, because Cosmic Clarity does an operation that is called deconvolution, which is a mathematical operation, but it uses AI to approximate it in a way that is as efficient as possible. So it's an AI tool, but it's an AI tool that does not invent data. It actually extracts data that already exists within your image. It's pretty impressive. Anyway, you want to go to those latest models here, and there you want to right-click on here and click on download, or you can enter that folder, select everything, click on download. It's going to zip all of those files together and download them as a zip file. Once that's done, you should have in your download folder those two folders, more or less. The first one is the software, so I can just say extract all and extract the files there. And we can simply wait for it to complete. At the same time, I can extract the other zip file and wait until both are done. Okay, and we've unzipped the files, and what I'll do is you can do whatever you want effectively, but I'll go to my documents folder. I'll just create a new folder in there and call it Cosmic Clarity, and I will put all of the files I just unzipped in there. So we have all of those. I'm just going to do Control-X for cut, then go to Documents, Cosmic Clarity, and Control-V to paste it in there. And then I will go to the second one, the AI models, same thing, Control-X to cut, and then go to Documents, Cosmic Clarity, and Control-V. And I will replace the files in the destination. That is perfectly fine. Okay, we are good. We've installed the standalone software. And actually, it doesn't really have an interface for you to use when you use it as a standalone tool. What you want to do is go to the input folder here and put a TIFF file or a PNG file. It's probably better to use a TIFF file. And you can see the images need to be 32-bit floating point. I think Frank also enhanced it to support 16-bit images. So how to do that really depends on the software that you're using. You need to make sure you choose the right options. For instance, if you were to do that from PixInsight, you would save as. You can choose as a TIFF file, click on save, say OK, and there you need to make sure it is this 32-bit IEEE 754 floating point. There are similar options in Cyril, for instance, if you use Cyril. Once you save that file, you can put it inside the input folder here, and you can see that the software actually comes with an example already, testimage.tiff. And then if you want to process it, you can double click on this SetiAstro Cosmic Clarity.exec and wait for it to launch a simple interface where you can put some parameters like the stellar sharpening amount and the non-stellar sharpening amount. Click on submit, and then the software will actually run on any TIFF files that you have within the input folder. Now that its job is done, we can look at the output. It created this test image underscore sharpened.tiff, and I can have a look at it in some random software. Here I'm using GIMP, and we could also compare it to the input image as well. So that's how you can use it as a standalone tool. Not the most intuitive, but it does work. If you're using PixInsight, you have the ability to add a script to use that tool. To do so, you want to go to Resources, Updates, Manage Repositories, and make sure that you have the repository for the SetiAstro Cosmic Clarity repository, which is the one that I have at the bottom. So you want to click, on add this following URL that I'll have also in the link in the description. It's also on the web page that we just looked at. You can see it is this URL here. Then you click on OK to add it. I already have it, so I'm just going to remove it and keep the one that I have. And then you want to go to Resources, Updates, check for updates. It will basically download the script for PixInsight, and then it will ask you to restart PixInsight, which you should do, and then the script should be available. To double check, you can go to Script, SetiAstro, and then you have Cosmic Clarity Sharpen and Cosmic Clarity Denoise that are both available in there. And those are, as far as I'm concerned, they're the best UI for the tool, but you do need PixInsight to run that. The tool, as we saw, can be run on a standalone basis. So for the rest of the video, I'll be using PixInsight, but you'll be getting exactly the same results with the standalone tool, because the only thing the script does is actually launch the tool separately to process the image and then put back the result in PixInsight. Okay, so now that we have both the standalone tool and the script that actually calls to the standalone tool installed, let's show you how to use it. So I have here an image of the Pleiades that I took a few years ago, and you would go to Script, SetiAstro, and when you want to sharpen, use Cosmic Clarity-sharpen there. You can set parameters, like how much you want to sharpen the stars, you want to sharpen the non-stellar stuff, as well as the scale at which you want to sharpen the non-stellar stuff, which can be important. For this particular test, I used like the default values, but we could change that to try and match stuff like BlurXterminator. Before you do anything though, you want to click on that wrench icon and make sure that in there you select the directory where you have your Cosmic Clarity thing installed. And if you want to run noise reduction, you go to SetiAstro and you choose Cosmic Clarity Denoise. Same thing, you want to make sure to click on the wrench and make sure you have the Cosmic Clarity folder with the executables and the latest AI models in there. And then you can choose your noise reduction strength and validate. And by the way, when you validate either of those, you'll see a window that comes up like that. It will process the image and then it will done. If you by mistake close the window or it crashes or something, and then you close PixInsight because PixInsight crashes when that happens, you may end up in a scenario where when you launch PixInsight again, your toolbars there, so these things at the top, these things at the bottom, are unavailable. And it has happened to me several times actually during those tests. To fix that, you'll want to go to View, Toolbars, and re-enable them one by one. And these are the ones that I have enabled if you're interested. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, so I'm going to use cosmic clarity on 3 sets of images. We have this from the Crescent Nebula, we have the heart of the Heart Nebula, and then we have the Pleiades that we'll be looking at. And my principle or my flow was basically top left. I have my usual flow, which is where you take the image, you apply BlurXterminator, then you apply Noise Exterminator. If the image was drizzled, before applying Noise Exterminator, I apply Resample. You can see all of the steps and the actual name of the image. And then finally, I stretch. In this case, I could have used the SetiAstro statistical stretch, but sometimes it is too statistical, and I felt that for this test, actually Bill's unlinked stretch worked better. So that's what I used instead. Those are also like free process icons that are available that I've covered on the channel a while back. And so that will be the top left image. The top right image, we have the same flow exactly, except that BlurXterminator is replaced by Cosmic Clarity Sharpen. Noise Exterminator is replaced by Cosmic Clarity Denoise. Basically, with the default options, except the noise reduction, I lowered it to 0.8, as I saw that 0.9 was a bit too aggressive for my taste. Then the bottom left, we have the didn't do anything kind of stuff, where I just did the automatic stretch, and then I also did some curves on it just to kind of reach a similar image as the other images. And then on the bottom right, instead of doing everything at the linear stage with Cosmic Clarity, I stretch first, then use the Cosmic Clarity Sharpen tool, then resample if it's a drizzled image, and then use the Cosmic Clarity Denoise. So that's basically the process that I used for each of the images. And let's start with the image of the Crescent Nebula that I have here, that you can see is a very wide field image there. And so let's go back to the start. And here we are in the linear stage. I'm going to concentrate on the 2 images at the top, which is basically the same flow, but with BlurXterminator and Noise Exterminator being replaced by Cosmic Clarity Sharpen and Cosmic Clarity Denoise. So let's start with the first step, BlurXterminator on the top left image. This is what we get. The stars are very well controlled. This is the before and the after, obviously a huge change. And if we still look at the details of the nebula, before and after, you can see especially towards the tip there of the space brains, we are getting a lot more detail. Again, this is before, and then this is after. Note as well that the star elongation is also very well corrected there. Let's do the same thing with Cosmic Clarity Sharpen on the image on the right hand side at the top. And something that I immediately notice with that image is that the stars become suddenly far more visible, far more like punchy than on the left hand side. And I'm not sure I like that much. And this is something that I've only noticed when I used Cosmic Clarity Sharpen on linear images, because it supports both linear and stretched images. So the stars are very punchy, but if we zoom in, we can see the stars are indeed well corrected. This is before and after, although they are still oblong. So Cosmic Clarity is just sharpening the stars. It's not trying to correct for star shapes, at least at this stage. And then if we go ahead and compare the same area on both images there, we can see that Cosmic Clarity, if we look at before, it's this top right one, and after, it's still done a very good job sharpening the nebula features. but not as good of a job as BlurXterminator did. That's something that I thought was very interesting. Later on, I'll show you an area where I tried changing the PSF parameter of Cosmic Clarity Sharpen to have it lower so we can try to reveal smaller scale details. But you can see BlurXterminator definitely has an advantage, but if you don't have PixInsight and you're therefore using Cosmic Clarity as a standalone tool, or you have PixInsight but you don't have BlurXterminator, then definitely Cosmic Clarity Sharpen makes a large difference. Next step on both images would be a simple resample. So let me put it on those. You can see that after the resample, I'm on this random area of the image. You can see the stars on the left are much less in your face than the stars on the right. So Cosmic Clarity did something a bit funky with the stars. Also look at the weird artifacts that I'm getting on my star spikes with Cosmic Clarity compared to BlurXterminator that did not do anything funky. So there's definitely something quite weird going on there. Now let's do the next step, which is Noise Exterminator on the left. So you can see the noise is immediately much better. On the top left, if I look at my space brains before Noise Exterminator and after Noise Exterminator, the difference is really striking, and we seem to be retaining all of those nice details, again, before and after. Very impressive. Let's do the same thing with Cosmic Clarity Denoise. And you can see it's something very interesting as well, is that it seems to change the color balance of the image as well, at least in the linear stage like that. Once I stretch, it's going to be an unlinked stretch, so it's not going to matter, but something that I thought was interesting to see. Next, we can look at the same area, and again, we can see that while Cosmic Clarity did sharpen stuff, and it did denoise very well, it's still definitely far away from the pair of BlurXterminator and Noise Exterminator. If I look at the overall brains, and I do before noise reduction and after noise reduction, we definitely see a very nice difference. We remove a lot of the noise. This is before and this is after. It's very much smoothened out. So as a noise reduction tool, it also seems to be working very well. And then my last step would be to stretch the image. So let's stretch the image on both sides, and now we can compare effectively the final stretch results of the same flow, but simply swapping out the tools. This is again on the Space Brain, the Crescent Nebula, and on the left hand side we have BlurXterminator, Noise Exterminator, and on the right hand side we have Cosmic Clarity Sharpen, Cosmic Clarity Denoise, and I think like there's no contest here. BlurXterminator and Noise Exterminator definitely still have the advantage, especially those stars being not super over sharpened is really good on BlurXterminator. Okay, but when I saw that, I'm like, okay, maybe it's better to stretch first because the AI that is used by Cosmic Clarity was trained on stretched images. BlurXterminator is the same actually, but somehow performs better. So here I have the other image, and now my top right image is an image where I first stretch the image, then run the sharpen from Cosmic Clarity, then resample down, and then run Cosmic Clarity Denoise. And in this case, let me show you the steps that we take. So first, we stretch the image. So now we are non-linear stage. Then we apply Cosmic Clarity Sharpen. And you can see we have a very good sharpening of the nebula features. You can and of the stars as well. The stars are still oblong, so it works in what appears to be a very similar way. So this is before and after the sharpen algorithm. The nebulosity is really well off after that sharpening. That's actually really well done. And then I resample, and after the resampling, I apply the Cosmic Clarity Denoise, and this is what we end up with. That being said, you can see that compared to Noise Exterminator, the stretch isn't as strong, and this is because we stretch the image before noise reduction, and so the stretch naturally is less strong. So I applied some curves as well to have like a similar level of luminosity between the two images. This time, cosmic clarity, the stars are much less emphasized, much less in your face than when I applied the process directly on the linear stage. So that's actually a very good thing in my opinion. And let's compare it to the noise exterminator, BlurXterminator kind of combo. Here is how it looks like, and we can see a result is actually very similar. The only thing is that BlurXterminator and noise exterminator seems to have like the advantage in terms of the small details. The cosmic clarity was not able to match that. And to me, this is, like on the top right, the reference of cosmic clarity. This is how it's supposed to be used, at least for now. Let's compare cosmic clarity with, doing nothing, just a stretch, and I believe a resample. So this is, without cosmic clarity on the left, with cosmic clarity on the right. Obviously, it's a massive change, it's a massive improvement. So even if cosmic clarity does not reach yet BlurXterminator, noise exterminator, it's still a vast improvement, and it's a standalone tool or a script in PixInsight. And so it's free. It's amazing. It's completely crazy that it's free. And if you don't have BlurXterminator, absolutely use it. Although again, I would recommend using it after the stretch. Just zooming out on the whole of the brains to have like a look at how it looks like a bit further away. And yeah, we can see still, like, even at that level of zoom, the difference between the two images is absolutely night and day. Cosmic clarity did an amazing job, definitely. Okay, I still had one thing I wanted to check with this image was, can I use cosmic clarity with, unstretched data, because that's the flow that I determined was the best for me. But this time, we're going to use a different PSF. Remember that PSF parameter? So SetiAstro, cosmic clarity sharpen. By default, it's 4, and I set it to 2 to try and, force cosmic clarity to go for the smaller details in the image. So it's exactly the same flow as before. We stretch, cosmic clarity sharpen, resample, cosmic clarity denoise, and then I added that it's lower PSF because we did cosmic clarity with a lower PSF parameter. So now we can zoom into that area of the space brains and match the field of view of BlurXterminator. And I believe that we do see some smaller details there from cosmic clarity, but still not as much as BlurXterminator, noise exterminator. Still a really, really good job. We can compare it to the one where we used the PSF parameter of 4. So now we're looking at the left cosmic clarity to on the right cosmic clarity. And it does look to me like we are sharpening some smaller details on the left and on the right, although that could be my imagination. So a very, very good effort by cosmic clarity, and definitely something you'd want to try out at least for your images. So after this first image, we're going to look next at the heart and at the Pleiades. But after the first image, what are your thoughts on cosmic clarity? Is that something you want to try out? Please go down below and leave a comment to let us know. If you have tips and tricks on usage of cosmic clarity as well, let us know down below. While you're on your way, please like the video. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to support the channel at no cost to you, and you're planning on buying anything from Amazon or Agena Astro, High Point Scientific, First Light Optics, etc., if you do so after clicking the links that I have down in the description, it will help me out, again, at no cost to you. If you're new to the channel and you like astrophotography, you can consider subscribing. It really helps the channel out. Plus, you'll get notified of my new videos, and there's always some good topics available. And if you want to sponsor the channel, because yes, this channel is sponsored by my Patreon supporters and by my channel members. If you too want to sponsor the channel and keep making this channel possible, you can join my Patreon. The link is down in the description, or you can join my channel as a member using the join button next to the subscribe button. You guys, you know it, you make a massive difference. This channel would not exist without you. Thank you so much for sponsoring the channel. Okay, let's keep going, and now we'll go to the Heart Nebula. So the Heart Nebula, here we have it, and I have the exact same 4 windows, and this time On the top left, again, BlurXterminator, resample, noise exterminator, then stretch. On the right, top right, cosmic clarity, sharpen, resample, cosmic clarity, denoise, and then stretch. So basically the same flow, but with switching out the BlurXterminator, noise exterminator with cosmic clarity. And then the bottom right, we have the same thing, but we first stretch the data. I've noticed that the results on each of the steps is very much a repeat of the Crescent Nebula, so I don't want to make the video too long, and therefore we're going to compare the final results after all of the processes. So first I'm going to show you how it looked like at first. This is the image that we worked at from the heart of the Heart Nebula, effectively. And on the top left, this is what we get with BlurXterminator, noise exterminator. The amount of detail that we get compared to the original image is absolutely astounding. You could even be forgiven to think that the image on the top is from a different set of data than the image on the bottom. Okay, what about with cosmic clarity at the linear stage? And cosmic clarity at the linear stage, it doesn't overemphasize the stars as much as it did before, but it still does a little bit. And this time, I think it actually performed very poorly overall, even before the noise reduction. I can come back to cosmic clarity before the noise reduction, and you can see it doesn't seem really to have extracted that much more detail. We can compare it to the original image. And I actually think the original image is better. It looks less noisy. It looks just better overall. And in my case, I would recommend not using cosmic clarity in this case. The original image actually provides a better result. So using cosmic clarity at the linear stage here was a big mistake. Not a good thing to use at the linear stage, at least for that particular image. Now, however, using cosmic clarity at the stretch stage, now that gives us something much, much better. And we definitely see, better details than on the original image. The noise is also much improved than on the original image. The original image is the bottom left. And compared to BlurXterminator, it still does a very good job. And while it's not able to really catch as much detail as BlurXterminator does. One thing I noticed though is that it adds this kind of like white mottling on the image. And I think it's the noise exterminator or the CCD, like cosmic clarity, the noise step, that actually adds that. And yes, it is. So this is before the noise reduction. And this is after the noise reduction. You see we have this weird mottling in here, the weird mottling in there that doesn't really exist in the original image. And so I think cosmic clarity has some weird, at least in the denoising, has some weird stuff going on. So maybe, and this is actually my go-to right now in terms of denoising, I would probably use Graxpert denoise in general, rather with the AI 3.0.2. That one is excellent, gives excellent results, and that's probably what I would use instead of the cosmic clarity denoise. So based on those two images, for the moment, the Crescent Nebula and the heart of the Heart Nebula, I think cosmic clarity does a very good job, especially in terms of the sharpening. But in terms of the denoising, I'd probably go for Graxpert denoise instead. And in terms of the sharpening, it does a good job on the stretch data. At least for both of my images, actually, the stretch data worked better than in the linear stage. So if you have BlurXterminator, just keep using BlurXterminator. If you don't, or you don't have PixInsight, then cosmic clarity, at least for the sharpen, after stretching the image, it seems to work great. Now let's look at our final example, the Pleiades. And again, we have exactly the same flow. Top left is BlurXterminator, noise exterminator, then stretching. Top right is cosmic clarity sharpen, cosmic clarity denoise, then stretching. Bottom left is just a stretch with some curves afterwards. And bottom right is stretching, then cosmic clarity sharpen, then cosmic clarity denoise. And in the example of the Pleiades, we can actually zoom into, let's say, this area of details that we have here to start with. Cosmic clarity on the linear stage, on the non-linear stage, and then the original image. This is the final result. Obviously, I think in this case, all three images, BlurXterminator, NoiseXterminator, Cosmic Clarity at the linear stage or at the stretch stage, they do a great job and they are superior to the original image that is just stretched on the bottom left. So definitely doing a great job here for all of the tools. And even looking between, the three images, between NoiseXterminator, BlurXterminator on the top left, and then the equivalent Cosmic Clarity applied at linear stage or applied at the stretched stage, I'd be hard-pressed to really notice much of a difference. I do feel that the details in the BlurXterminator and NoiseXterminator image are sharper than on the Cosmic Clarity images, both of them. And it's also very interesting. It could be me imagining things, but it does feel that the Cosmic Clarity in the top right, that was used at the linear stage, there might be some kind of ringing artifact around the stars that make them slightly more prominent than Cosmic Clarity at the bottom right that was used on the stretched level. But we see much less of a difference between the stretched data and unstretched data for Cosmic Clarity than we did with the previous image. If we go to a different area of nebulosity, we see something again that is very similar, although it does feel to me that Cosmic Clarity sharpen is at the stretch, after stretching, seems to be maybe giving slightly better results than before stretching, but I'm not sure. That could again be just my imagination. And it does feel the stars are less emphasized on the bottom right than they are at the top right. In terms of BlurXterminator, NoiseXterminator versus Cosmic Clarity, it feels almost like Cosmic Clarity might have eked out more details / more contrast in those dust lanes, and also especially in this area there. Let me zoom into that area. Do we have? Yeah, we have weirdly more contrast with Cosmic Clarity on this area than we do with BlurXterminator. What about the stretched data? And the stretched data, Cosmic Clarity looks very similar to BlurXterminator, NoiseXterminator. So on this broadband image, we seem to be getting much closer data, but when I zoom in like that, I also notice that Cosmic Clarity does tend to have some kind of weird ringing artifacts, which are typical of deconvolution stuff, around the stars there. So I think that's very interesting to note that we seem to be much closer in terms of those two solutions, Cosmic Clarity and BlurXterminator, NoiseXterminator, on this particular Pleiades image. And that's it basically for my comparison for the moment. Cosmic Clarity is free, it's standalone, and I think it makes a big difference compared to the original image in all cases, except sometimes when I used it, at least on the Heart Nebula, when we had used Cosmic Clarity on the unstretched data, on the linear data. So based on my current experiments, and I saw something similar actually with yet another image that I tested, I would suggest using Cosmic Clarity Sharpen after stretching. And then for denoising, you can try Cosmic Clarity Denoise. It doesn't cost anything besides CPU power for a little bit, and GPU as well. But you can also try Graxpert Denoise with the AI 3.0.2. That works excellently as well. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Like the video if you want to encourage me. Obviously, this video was a lot of work, less work than creating Cosmic Clarity. Franklin, dude, thank you so much. The whole community is thankful for your efforts. This is absolutely amazing. But still, a lot of effort. If you want to support the channel, feel free to subscribe. You can join the channel as a member. You can join my Patreon to really sponsor the channel directly. Or if you're planning on buying anything from Amazon, Gina, etc., if you do so after clicking the links that I have in the description, it will help me out at no cost to you. With that, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, whenever you can, to look up at the stars, and I'll see you next time.